Hello everybody and welcome to the very first Civilization 7 video on this channel and hopefully the first of many. In this video I'm going to be reacting to the official gameplay showcase trailer, going to be watching it as I go and pausing it every now and again to sort of discuss and talk about things. I say it's a reaction video, it's not really because I've seen it before. It's going to be more of a sort of deep dive dissection video, so to speak. If you're not aware of who I am or you're new to the channel, I am Under Civ and I've played and streamed Civilization since Civilization 6, should I say, since release. 99% of that has been multiplayer, so I am going to be discussing multiplayer focused things in this video as well as single player. Apart from that, I have pretty much no 4K games experience. I dabbled in a bit of Humankind, I played a tiny bit of Civ 5, but apart from that, absolutely nothing. So when I'm talking about new concepts or comparing things in the game, I've got very little to compare to. So don't be sort of coming at me with a pitchfork saying, "Oh, that was in Civilization 2 that got released in the 1920s all that time ago." So yeah, anyway, without further ado, please subscribe to me on YouTube. You can follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/underciv, and let's jump straight into it. Okay, here we go. I do think I'd be a good narrator for Civ, to be fair. Not to sort of blow my own trumpet.
Throughout our history, ordinary people have done extraordinary things, illuminating our potential. They inspired movements, created the impossible, and destroyed the indestructible. Ordinary people chose to change the world, chose to dream, to build, to hope, to always hope. And if there's hope for one of us, there's hope for us all. Now it's your turn to reimagine civilization and build something you believe in.
Okay, so obviously, first point of discussion there is the narrator. I think it's something you either care deeply about or you don't really care about. It's a British person, obviously. It's always going to be a British person, isn't it? They just got the charismatic charm that everyone just can listen to over and over again. It's a female too, which is new. But yeah, happy to see that. She seems a pretty good choice. I was expecting this to be, a sort of gameplay trailers played by the team, like they normally do, not just what you'll see now.
Hello, Civ fans. On behalf of all of us here at Firaxis Games, we'd like to welcome you to a first look at the next chapter in our Civilization franchise, Civilization VII. You know, looking back 30 years ago, Civilization was created during a time when we were still learning what games could really be. We were searching for that next big challenge to take on, which led us to thinking, what could be greater than putting the entire history of the world into a video game and make it fun? 3 decades later, it's because of your passion, your love for Civ, that we're still here today. In every game of Civ, you've gone on a journey to build an empire to stand the test of time. And now the journey continues. Prepare to take just one more turn on February 11th, 2025, when we launch Civilization 7 across PC and consoles, all on day one for the first time in franchise history. This is by far the biggest, the most ambitious game we've ever made at Firaxis. It represents a significant gameplay evolution for the Civ franchise, and it's a game we plan to support for many years to come.
Okay, I'm just going to quickly pause it there because it's a good sort of scene to pause it on with what I want to talk about. Obviously, the big discussion there is Sid Meier's making his little appearance. 30 years franchise. That must be one of the longest actually. But I just want to mention the graphics really. I feel like they've done a sort of mixture of Civ 6 and Civ 5 graphics. It's sort of like serious and cartoony at the same time. I really like it. It reminds me a lot of Age of Empires, which I'm sure a lot of you guys played, especially the sort of 30 odd year olds that are watching here. I do know that the graphics did cause a bit of a divide when Civ 6 got revealed. A lot of people were saying it was like sort of childish and cartoony. I really like the Civ 6 graphics though, so these also look very nice to me.
Today, you'll learn about the vision for the game, the driving force that inspired our biggest new feature. You'll see your Civ world brought to life like never before, and you'll discover why Civilization VII promises to be a revolutionary new chapter in this franchise that we all love so dearly. Please enjoy.
Another thing I just want to quickly mention there is the release date was revealed to be February the 11th, obviously 2025. Just before Valentine's Day, for all you single people out there, you can distract yourself with a lot of Civ 7 to take away from the misery of single life. Anyway, let's carry on.
Civilization is the foundation of Firaxis. Whether you've been playing since the MS-DOS days or have joined us more recently, we're so grateful for your continued passion and support. When you walk around our studio, you can feel the energy and excitement. You can see how inspired our people are to come in and build the next Civ game.
Civilization is the ultimate historical strategy game. Your goal in Civ is to build an empire to stand the test of time. You select a civilization, led by a famous historical leader, and guide your Civ's journey across the entire span
Graphics are
of
nice.
human history. You shape your empire piece by piece, from what technologies you want to research.
I'm just going to quick pause it there to again talk about the graphics. They're a big sort of thing for me. If in the previous part of the video, I'm not going to go back and start skipping around things because it'd probably be annoying to watch. But there was like sort of medieval castles and forts, and now we've got this sort of more modern style of architecture here. I do want to point out as well, there's something that has taken my sort of attention is the trains and the railways. This does look like a train station. I feel like the railway system was a bit underwhelming in Civ 6. Like it's good for maneuvering troops and sort of like trading between you and your allies and your own cities, but it just felt more of a sort of chore than anything rather than, a sort of good infrastructure, if that makes sense.
To what civics you want your society to uphold. And you
Oh, you mentioned
compete with
civics.
others on the world stage, engaging in diplomacy,
Okay, so we've got a little bit of a preview of the UI here, which is obviously looks like they're sort of trading as a first meet apparently. Rome, I'm guessing that's going to be. He looks a bit, I don't know, like the model itself is quite nice, but the head looks like it needs a bit of work. We can see here we've got some influence options, a friendly greeting, a neutral greeting, and a hostile greeting. So obviously you can sort of like play different styles, which is good.
negotiating alliances, and sometimes going to war.
3D models look quite nice as well, actually.
Your empire has always been represented by a single civilization. You play through the entire span of history as that one civilization. This time around, we want to take you on a new journey.
For the first time ever, in Civilization VII, the story of your empire isn't just that of a single Civ, but several connected together through time.
Okay, so here's the big sort of one of the big reveals is a Civ that develops and changes through time. This is going to be a very big elephant in the room that I will address later on, and It looks interesting, but it's a bit concerning at the same time. Anyone that's played Humankind will probably know what I'm going to talk about, but we'll discuss that a little bit later when he talks about it more.
At the dawn of each new age of human advancement, you'll select a new civ to represent your empire.
Lots of different
You'll
types of
build
terrain
on
by the looks of
carry
it.
forward your previous achievements while unlocking new gameplay bonuses to reinforce or pivot your strategy. And by the end, you'll have forged a unique path through history. To show you what we mean, let's take you through the story of one such empire.
Okay, now the gameplay starts.
It is the dawn of a new age.
Look how nice that I'm pausing it again to talk about the graphics, but does look really nice. Like we've got this sort of desert terrain here. We've got a really nice looking river, and there's some like sort of grassland over there, some palm trees knocking around, a couple of camels.
The
Does look
age
nice.
of antiquity, where humanity begins to take its first steps into the annals of history.
Oh, okay. So we've got Egypt as a reveal here, a cultural and economic civilization. Plus one production on navigable. Is that a word? Rivers, and plus 30% production towards constructing the pyramids. I wonder if the pyramids are going to be a wonder then, because that's a bit of a very sort of all or nothing. Like it's going to be nice. Obviously, 30% production will be probably a lot to build something, but if you can only build like one of them, then maybe not so much. They've got the Medjay, an infantry replacement with no maintenance, plus 3 combat strength in friendly territory, doubled when stationed in a settlement of your own. The Mastaba, I reckon I sounded Egyptian, sorry. Plus 3 culture and gold adjacency for desert terrain and wonders. Egyptian unique culture building, ageless. So I guess ageless means that you can sort of build it whenever you like, and it's not tied down to one of the ages. And a Mortuary temple plus 4 gold and happiness adjacency for navigable. I'm going to hate that word. Rivers and wonders, Egyptian unique gold building, and also ageless. So yeah, some little reveals there, but when you've got nothing to sort of compare it to and how it's going to work in game, it doesn't really mean much. Like plus 4 gold could be really good, but it will also really bad at the same time.
The great pharaoh, Hatshepsut, leads the civilization of ancient Egypt. Among the arid desert lands and
So it looks like you start off similar in Civ 6, where you start with like a settler, so to speak, because I think she is about to settle that into a city.
winding river, the seeds of our people are rooted in sand and water.
Next to a river as well, so maybe
To
some
discover
bonuses
what
for that.
treasures and dangers lie beyond, a brave scout begins to survey and map the surrounding lands. As our population grows, a new granary is built to store food for hungry mouths. Its location decided.
Okay, so something new again here. Obviously, when you build a granary in Civilization 6, it's a building that gets built inside the city, so you don't sort of see it, so to speak. And it's not placed on a tile where it is in Civ 7, it seems.
A new district is formed.
Oh, and she calls it a
And
district, which
construction
is
begins.
interesting.
With more food available, our people look to make improvements to the land. An ancient fruit ripe for cultivating is spotted. Dates will provide more sustenance for our citizens, and their sweetness will make the people happy.
Okay, she mentions happy there for dates, so that's going to be a sort of luxury resource, it seems, that's going to benefit the overall happiness of your Civ. On the subject of happiness, I do hope they keep a sort of similar system as they do in Civ 6, where it's like happiness is on a sort of city level rather than a global level. I feel like in Civ 5 the sort of happiness system wasn't great because one or two bad cities would just completely hinder the rest of your empire, where in 6 it's a lot more localized. Like if one city is very unhappy, that doesn't mean another city can't be happy, which kind of makes sense, really.
A plantation is constructed to harvest this valuable resource. Over time, our city continues to grow as more urban and rural developments spring forth.
Cities look a lot bigger.
Advancements in technology.
Okay, so we've got some techs here as well. So obviously the tech tree is coming back, and I don't think that was ever going away anyway. Currency, masonry, irrigation, and writing too, does that say? So maybe you've got sort of techs that get better over time, if that makes sense. Like if there's a writing 2, then surely there's going to be a writing 1.
Technology to serve the needs of our people.
Not much information as of yet.
Breakthrough.
Oh, I spoke too soon. Well, we can't really get much off that except for the quote anyway.
In irrigation further enhance our...
And then she does give some information. I'm just going to rewind it back there a sec.
Breakthroughs in irrigation further...
Okay, so we've got a garden, which gives you 3 food, 1 food for each adjacent coastal terrain, a lake, navigable river, and adjacent wonder. So adjacency bonuses are back, and it looks like district mechanic is also not going anywhere. I like districts personally, so I'm glad to see that.
Enhance our food production, while sailing unlocks our ability to traverse the nearby waters.
There was also something there that mentioned settlement limit, so maybe you are capped now by how many settlements or cities, as the Civ 6 guys would call it. So maybe there is a sort of soft cap on them now. Is that a good thing? I don't know. I do like, the sort of ability to go tall or wide, and it's sort of your choice, or it benefits or off your leader choice, for example.
It is now possible to journey further and expand our empire. With a deft hand, our scout travels along a navigable river.
Navigable. It just doesn't sound right. Obviously, this is new. It's not really a huge deal, but it's interesting to say the least. The boat is going up the river, which you've not been able to do in Civ 6. Hopefully, this is going to be a sort of a benefit to movement. Like it should be quicker, I imagine, to move up and down the rivers. But there probably is going to be a sort of penalty to being in a boat, for example, or a sort of disembark penalty.
Their tenacity is rewarded with the discovery of a breathtaking series of waterfalls.
It must be a wonder, natural wonder.
This natural wonder of the world attracts the imagination of our people, and brave settlers begin the long trek to claim new land for the Egyptian Empire.
Settlers do look vulnerable
again.
A
new town is established near the majestic falls. A town starts from humble beginnings and is initially used to gather nearby resources. Perhaps in the future, this town will grow large enough to specialize and gain its own identity as a city.
So she mentions there that the settlement, has the possibility to become a city. So I'm thinking that maybe you have to sort of reach a certain criteria, or maybe spend some form of resource for it to become a city. Obviously, I'm sort of thinking about humankind now, where you'd spend, I think it was influence to develop an outpost into a city. Could be an interesting mechanic.
Our expansion does not go unnoticed. A foreign scout is spotted, revealing the existence of a nearby independent power. Initial hostilities are tempered over time as friendly relations begin to form. And peace does not dampen our ambitions. Our people strive forth to create great wonders the world has never seen before.
There's some I'm going to go back quickly there.
Wonders the world has never seen before.
I don't like these ribbons. I feel like it takes away from the. It's hard to capture it in the moment, but it looks like when you finish a wonder, there's like paper confetti that sort of explodes everywhere, and I think it just takes away. Maybe I know I'm being very nitpicky here, but it feels like it takes away from the sort of immersion of an ancient civilization. Obviously, they're not going to be running around with party poppers back then.
As we continue to expand and explore the continent, we encounter new civilizations. They are eager to engage in a bartering of ideas and goods.
So it looks like we've got another diplomacy screen here with some slightly different things. Treaties. We've got open borders, improved trade relations, denounce military presence, reconciliation, denounce and military infiltration. The one that she's hovering over here. If action accepted, permanently increase the number of trade routes you can establish with other civilization by 1, can only be done once per civilization. The target receives gold, lasts for 0 turns. So yeah, that's interesting. The military, the espionage looks like you don't need a spy like you do in 6, so that could be something new again.
Trade routes are established, providing mutual access to each empire's resources. But our rapid growth does not go unnoticed. Our neighbors' ambitions rival our own, setting us on a collision course. War is no longer avoidable.
I don't like that Rome model at all.
A great army is raised, led by formidable commanders who...
Oh look, they do have the sort of commanders as they call them in the middle. I wonder if that's a general or it's just sort of part of the sort of unit that you build. One thing I've always wanted in Civ is for great people to be a sort of level up, so to speak, as they go along, like in a sort of RTS, like with abilities and that sort of thing. But I don't think it would be very balanced, to be honest. I guess like heroes in Civ 6.
spur our forces quickly across the land.
Lots of fighting
Spears
going on
and
there.
arrows make way for iron swords and armor. The battles are fierce.
I don't know. Are they? Do they look fierce though? It just kind of looks like they're sort of prodding at each other.
We emerge victorious.
District captured.
But the challenges of this age have shaken our mighty Egyptian empire to its core. The world changes.
I like how there's like,
We feel
dark
the
black
pages
buildings
of
and
history
things are on
turn
fire.
as the age of antiquity comes to a close. A new age of human advancement approaches. The age of exploration. A new age brings forth new challenges.
Oh, there's a lot of things there, isn't there? Game 1 city, game 1 town. So there's settlements, towns, and cities. Gain walls. Gain an army. Gain a ranged army. Gain a cavalry army. Gain economics for free. There's a lot of things going on there, but without sort of having played the game, it's kind of hard to tell like how much of an impact sort of these, whatever these are, have on the game really.
And new opportunities. New technologies to research.
Oh, it looks like you can
New
choose a few.
resources to acquire. New lands to explore. If we are to take on the challenges of this new age, we must adapt and select a new civilization to represent our empire. One that is better equipped to take on the challenges of the exploration age. This new civilization builds on top of its past legacy, and our actions in this age will inevitably influence a future yet to come. As we evolve, so too do our neighbors.
So there she's obviously talking about the era progression that Ed Beach mentioned before about changing your civilization and having new abilities and that sort of thing. But yeah, it sounds interesting. I'm just very concerned that it's very sort of close to what humankind did with their system.
The stage is set. A new age begins. Will you follow a path set by history? Or will you pivot and forge something anew? What kind of empire will you make? What strategies will you pursue?
Looks like we got another screen here to talk about befriend, independent, and incite raid. So I guess these are sort of city states or small sort of non-playable civilizations, so to speak.
The future is yours to create. In Sid Meier's Civilization VII.
The journey of Hatshepsut, brought to life by our wonderful new narrator, Gwendolyn Christie, is just one potential path you can take in Civilization VII. This is made possible by our biggest new feature, Ages. Ages are inspired by a transformational idea for Civ, that history is built in layers. This idea is a way of understanding how civilizations have grown, changed, and evolved over time.
Think of the first civilizations of the world as creating an initial foundation. As a civilization grows, new layers are added to that foundation in the form of things like technologies, schools of thought, and cultural norms. At some point, civilizations, faced with a crisis that defines their time, must evolve. When that happens,
Okay, we've got another screen to talk about. Loads of stuff going on in this video. I don't even know what these are. Oh, government, apparently, some crisis policies. Or is that just a sort of, I don't know. Healing cults +5 happiness on altars in infected settlements, but -10 gold. Miasma gain 2 migrants when a city is infected. Yeah, so I'm not sure what they're talking about within infection here. +5 happiness in infected settlements with a commander station, but -5 happiness in settlements with no altar. Prognosis, we've got +2 science on science buildings in infected settlements, but minus infection. Maybe this is like sort of disease or something then. Like, you know, a sort of like, I mean, yeah, like a disease taking over the town, which could be interesting. Probably annoying at the same time though, RNG.
these past layers don't disappear. Instead, they now serve as a new foundation for the new civilization. As the cycle repeats, connecting the past, present, and future together.
Instead of playing as one single civilization across every age, you'll evolve your empire into a new civilization for each new age. One that is suited to take on the historical challenges of that time.
Every age is designed to be like a historical sandbox, as a way to really immerse yourself in that time. Almost everything inside an age is exclusive to that age.
This is what I'm talking about with the difference in graphics as well. We saw some like pine trees there, and now we're looking at a sort of snow fortress, which I really like.
That includes things like which technologies and civics you can research, what resources are available to be gained, which independent powers surround you, to even things like gameplay systems and civilizations, all unique to that age.
Having unique civs for each age is something we're really excited about. In the past, every civ needed to be balanced across a game that spans all of history. This naturally resulted in things like late-era civs being strong in the late game, but weak early on. Now, we can balance around the age itself.
So, oh, I've just gone a bit too far there.
Now,
So these sort of like choices here, these must be a sort of a thing that you choose at the start of ages, from what I can gather here, and maybe you can only choose a set number of each, or 4 or 5 like all together, sort of thing.
we can balance around the age itself. This means we can give every civ bonuses, units, and buildings that are always relevant and powerful. Having exclusive civs per age is also great for historical immersion. Every age feels like an epic showdown of some of the great powers of that time.
We'll have 3 ages for you to play. The Antiquity Age, when agricultural societies begin to cluster into urban centers, forming the foundations of the first civilizations. The Exploration Age, when the desire for precious commodities from distant lands spurs empires to stretch across great oceans. And the Modern Age, a period of incredible technological growth and global conflict, where mankind goes from the development of the steam engine to the splitting of the atom.
Oh, nuke.
Every age can be played on its own or woven together into a full campaign.
Okay, so gotta quickly pause it there to talk about something again. So we've got 3 ages. Doesn't seem like a lot. There could be added more in expansions or DLC, I suppose. But what I do want to talk about is whether or not like the sort of techs and civics or choices that you make in the game, as they've mentioned, are sort of locked into eras that could make for some interesting gambles and very punishing gameplay. For example, if you decide to tech towards sort of a lot of infrastructure, but you don't, I don't know, reveal iron or tech a certain unit, is that going to leave you vulnerable to be attacked by sort of someone that does reveal those? Or maybe you just can go back and research the techs and civics that you did miss out on.
In past games, civs and leaders were always tied together and came as a package deal of agendas, abilities, units, and more. With civs being exclusive to ages, we're excited to introduce a new innovation for leaders. For the first time in franchise history, leaders are now selected independently from civilizations. You can now mix and match unique parts of different civs and leaders.
Right, so there's some information here that we could just quickly rewind and talk about as well. But I just want to take a moment to talk about the 3 leaders that he's just shown. Previous to, really nice models, like the sort of facial features, the look, the overall look, the clothes and the hair, etc., the hats, whatever. Really nice, good looking. And then we've got this 12-year-old boy leading the Roman Empire. This model 100% needs updating. Let's go back and have a look at these. Like, look at that. That looks much better. So we've got Axum of a cultural economic civilization here. Kingdom of natural wealth, +2 golden resources. That looks like a nice bonus. Plus 30% production towards constructing the Great Steel. I'm thinking that maybe each civ or leader or or persona, whatever they want to call it, has a sort of production bonus towards certain wonders, maybe. We've got a naval replacement, the Dow. I do apologize if I'm butchering that again. +3 combat strength on coast. And the Howelt. +2 gold, +1 culture for adjacent wonders and other Howelt. Axumti, a unique improvement. I'm butchering this, I do apologise. Ageless does not remove warehouse bonuses on a tile, must be placed on flat terrain. Obviously, again, none of that really means much at the moment. It will probably mean a lot more when we can sort of see what those other things like warehouses do.
You can now mix and match.
We've got the Mau. Oh, I need to stop. I need to probably research on how you pronounce half of these things. You can choose an additional pantheon. Oh, that's very interesting actually. If it's similar to Civ 6, imagine that is very nice. After unlocking mysticism, +3%, 30% production towards constructing Sanchi Stupa. Again, that does sound like a wonder. We've got a cavalry replacement that I'm not going to try and pronounce. +3 combat strength against other cavalry. Ignores combat bonuses from walls. We've got something else that gives +3 happiness. Science adjacency for quarters and wonders. Quarters, that was Maker's Quarter was a thing in humankind, wasn't it? This is, I don't know, I feel like the big elephant in the room is the humankind comparison. unique happiness building, ageless, and we've got a +3 happiness building, cultural adjacency for mountains and wonders.
Unique parts of
And we've got
different
Rome
civs and
coming as well.
leaders.
Yeah, again, we've got +30% production towards constructing the Colosseum, so I think that's, you know, going to be a thing, that each leader has a sort of construction bonus towards their own wonders, so to speak. We've got the Legion, again, +2 combat strength for every Roman tradition in the government. Increased maintenance. We've got the Basilica, +4 gold, influence, adjacency for culture buildings and wonders, Roman unique gold building, and we've got a Temple of Jupiter, +3 happiness, culture adjacency for happiness buildings and wonders, Roman unique happiness building.
Unlocking all new strategic combinations.
We've talked about that
Staying true to Civ's spirit of experimentation. For players who want to stick to more historical pairings, a useful indicator will appear on the Civ selection screen.
We're also taking the opportunity to expand who we consider to be a leader in Civilization VII. We'll continue to have traditional heads of state, such as Hatshepsut, but we're also excited to have new leaders in areas such as philosophy, religion, science, and more.
Having leaders stay the same across ages helps bring a sense of who you're playing against in Civilization VII.
I wonder if they're going to do the if they're going to sort of release, you know, character leaders based on the sort of famous Civ players or content creators, so to speak. Praxis, if you're watching, hit me up. Beautiful.
It also gives you the opportunity to keep the theme of evolution going. As your empire evolves from one age to the next.
Oh, loads of stuff here again. We've got leader attributes, apparently. Cultural choices. We've got diplomatic, economic, expansionist, militaristic, and scientific. I'm losing the ability to pronounce words as this video goes on. +5 combat strength against independence and city states. Now, if you're an avid under Civ enjoyer, you're going to know full well that my arch enemy in Civ 6 is in fact city states or trying to kill them. It's just a curse. I'll do a quick explanation, but obviously killing a city state in Civ 6 is very beneficial. It gets you some tempo, especially if you do it really early. But not if you're me, because anytime I even look at a city state, it builds walls, it builds loads of units, and just everything goes wrong. Meanwhile, people on the other side of the map are killing it with 3 units. So yeah, I'll definitely be going for that one. Gain 1 free support on all your wars. I'm not sure what that means just yet. +50% influence towards levying units from city states. +15% production towards training military units. That seems like a good choice. Ignore unrest from capturing settlements. So obviously you've got like a sort of rebellion mechanic going on there. Garrison commanders reduce happiness penalties by additional 10%. -1 gold maintenance for all units. +1 settlement limit. Commanders gain a free level. New commanders start with a free level. Units receive +2 health when healing, and it's repeatable. The support thing is concerning me. Again, I'm hoping it's not like the war system in Humankind was, where you sort of have to like diplomatically wither your opponent down before you can actually declare war on him. I am very concerned that it's going to be very Humankind-esque, but I don't want to sort of harp on about it too much, which I already have.
It's important that your leader grows as well.
Oh, there's loads of stuff here. So we've got expansionist choices, +1 food per age on warehouse buildings, +10% growth rate in cities, looks nice, +25% production towards settlers, 25% of food is refunded when a city grows by adding a specialist. Gain 1 population in towns, new towns start with additional pop. So yeah, this is all sort of growth stuff.
All leaders now have attributes that can further specialize their skills. These attributes can be gained in a variety of ways, from completing narrative events to rewards for free.
It's these events again. It's stuff from Humankind. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Attributes can be gained in a variety of ways, from completing narrative events to rewards for researching certain technologies and civics. Overall, leaders are getting a huge upgrade. They're more powerful, more varied, and more strategically interesting than ever. We cannot wait for you to discover your new favorite leader in Civilization VII.
I can't play Rome just simply because of the look of it.
When one age ends and you begin an age transition, it is an incredibly exciting moment. You'll select a new civilization to represent your empire in the new age. You'll choose parts of your past Civ to carry forward into the new one. And the game map literally expands, filled with new independent powers to befriend, new resources to acquire, and new discoveries to be made.
Okay, so he mentions the map expanding. I don't know if he means that in a literal sense, but he does mention, new independence and resources being added. Whether that means that they're added as in that you discover them and obviously then they're added to the map, or whether every time there's a new age, then the map does actually change, which could be very interesting. Maybe sort of new city states or independence by it seems to what they call it in this video, and maybe there are new sort of luxury resources and stuff added, which would be nice actually, and kind of does make sense.
During an age transition, there are a few factors that determine which Civ you can evolve into. This includes any historical connections between your previous and future Civ, your choice of leader, and even certain gameplay decisions that you made in the past age. Every Civ plays differently. Across your game, you might want to stay as true to history as possible, only selecting Civs that have historical ties to each other. Or you might switch to Civs that fit your strategic needs.
There are so many possible paths to explore, so many different choices you can make. The potential for strategy in Civilization VII is nearly endless.
Something we hear often from players is about how when you play a game of Civ, you forget the world around you. Video games, more than any other medium, have this ability to completely immerse you in another universe. Whether it's through art, music, cinematic moments, or language, our goal is to bring your Civ world to life.
Getting the look and feel for Civilization VII right is critical, so it's important to make sure we are capturing that through our art style. I spent a lot of time as a kid in museums, especially in the diorama sections, and being able to walk by and see these little miniatures that aren't moving, but there's a story told in them, was something that I always found intriguing. Technology changes every time we put one of these games out, and each time we put one out, we can do more. And we're at a spot in the industry now where we've just got a lot of tools and a lot of power under our belts to represent the entire world of civilization.
I'm not going to really talk about what he's talking about, because he's just talking about his sort of life of art and that. But look at the size of the city. Well, I don't know if that's one huge city or it's multiple, but it does look like the cities are a lot bigger in Civ 7. Obviously in Civ 6 you're kind of limited by you can only work tiles that are 3 tiles away, and this looks a lot bigger.
We're hoping that the players can look into this game, see the diametric detail on this, and tell their own stories that they've never told before. Everything is going to fit together in such a different way than it has in the past from Civilization, and I think it's going to give you a much more realistic version of the simulation that you're trying to create. We took a lot what we learned in the Civ 6 and learned from that, trying to open up some more spaces and everything, and we adjusted the tone from 6 a bit, and I think it's what our fans are looking for, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun for them.
Yeah, I think when he mentions that, he sort of mentions tone and how he's like listened to the fans and moved away from Civ 6. I think he is sort of addressing the masses that did say that Civ 6 looks cartoony, which it does, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Like I said before, I like the art style of Civ 6, but I can see why that would annoy the sort of Civ serious fans, because obviously they want to look at something that looks realistic, I guess, because it's a game based on history, which is very real.
Something that nobody else is doing, and nobody but Firaxis can do.
But I still get very Age of Empires feel from the graphics,
I
which is
think
a good
players
thing.
will love how combat looks. We greatly expanded the variety of units in Civ 7. Units now constantly engage one another. You'll see and hear the clashing of swords and steel. Units
It it does look good, but it kind of looks a bit underwhelming at the same time. Like I don't know how to explain it. Like the combat did look quite fun there, but the sort of constant prodding, just I don't know, it annoys me a little bit.
have a higher level of fidelity than ever before. Everything from the little parts and pieces and details on the armor set to the entire representation.
I think what
of
I'm
a
trying to say
whole
is they
army
look
on a
good, the
battlefield.
units, but the animations aren't quite
I feel like this is
amazing.
going to become your Civ. Like this is the one. It has the look.
Firaxis takes its representation of different cultures in Civ 7 very seriously. Language is a critical part of civilization. It's how people tell their story.
Profound sinner.
This is important because we are trying to teach through this game, and it's important to our players. They want to see their cultures represented correctly. In many cases, some players have never seen their cultures represented anywhere else.
That kind of looks like, oh, I missed it, but Anchor
It
Wat
brings
there,
great pride and joy to be able to see themselves included in the history of the world.
Music
So
also
Wales,
plays an
where's
important
Wales
role
then,
in bringing out the
please?
spirit and essence of each civilization. Every Civ has its own theme, and we're excited to share that Chris Tin, who composed the Grammy Award-winning theme Baba Yetu for Civilization 4 and the main theme for Civilization 6, is returning for Civilization 7, and we cannot wait for you to hear it.
Maybe by returning, he means that he's going to be a great musician.
Today represents just an initial look at what's to come in Civilization 7. We have so much more to share, from gameplay deep dives to first looks at new leaders and civilizations, to what you can expect from Civ 7 post-launch.
Sid Meier's Civilization 7 releases on February 11th, 2025, and is available to pre-order today. Players who pre-order Civilization 7 will receive the Tecumseh and Shawnee pack. And if you haven't already, be sure to create a 2K account and sign up for our Civ newsletter to receive the latest updates. Doing so will unlock the exclusive Emperor persona for Napoleon in Civilization 7. And as a special thank you, if you use that same 2K account to play Civ 6, you'll automatically unlock Napoleon's revolutionary persona in Civ 7. Check out our website at civilization.com for full details, and be sure to follow Civ for all the latest.
We hope you enjoyed this first look at Civilization 7. The entire team at Firaxis has been working very hard to make sure we deliver a game that gives you more reasons to take just one more turn.
As we welcome Civ 7 into the Civ family, I think back to the legacy of Civilization, the 30 years of development, refinement, iteration, exploration of the millions of players that have contributed, of the billions of hours that have been played. I'm so proud to be here for this moment, welcoming Civ 7 into the family. February 11th, 2025 isn't too far away. We're excited to be taking this journey with you.
Right, so yeah, there we go. So that's the end of the trailer. Oh no, it's not. Like this is the trailer now, so we'll watch that. Hurricane there. It's disasters maybe coming back. Does look good, like graphics wise. Machu Picchu, Colosseum. Statue of Liberty. throne. Okay, so that is the end of the trailer now. So now we're going to do a sort of quick little post trailer discussion. Okay, so the video is already pretty long, so I'm not going to try and talk about too many things. Obviously, the biggest thing is the new age mechanic on like how your sort of civilization develops and changes through the ages, and you have to sort of make these choices and whatnot. That does seem interesting. Obviously, you can sort of mix and match your civ and change things as you go. You're not sort of locked into one specific sort of approach to the game like Civ 6 can sort of force you to do. Like if you pick something like Korea, you have to sort of go science district first, and that you're going to be sort of less limited in Civ 7, it seems. And we've also got the new sort of town development system, where you don't necessarily improve tiles with workers, and you more so like put districts on tiles, and then maybe have sort of specialists work in those districts, I should imagine. um it it is like it's good in the sense that it's something totally new to Civ 6, and it's a sort of brave move. Whether it's a bit too close to humankind, I don't know yet. And I feel like humankind's gameplay was nice for a bit, but it did get very stale quickly. It felt more like a race to get to the sort of bigger towns and the later text than a sort of more steady approach that Civ 6 tends to reward. So yeah, I'm not sure quite yet how I feel about just spamming districts everywhere and just sort of planting things down willy nilly. I do like the district system in 6, and like you sort of build one of each district, and you you develop it by building buildings inside of it. The wonder system, obviously, we don't really know too much about that yet. I feel like in Civ 6, if you lost an early wonder, especially, it does set you back a lot in the game. But I suppose that is the sort of risk of gambling an early wonder. So I kind of do hope that wonders can be sort of locked in, so to speak, in 7. And if you are the first person to sort of unlock and start building it, then you're sort of guaranteed to be able to build that. Maybe the sort of counter to that would be to make them more expensive than they are in 6. So yeah, a couple of concerns there. Another major cause for concern for me, at least, and probably quite a few people watching this video, is the complete and utter zero mention of multiplayer. Anyone that's played Civ 6 multiplayer is probably fully aware of the stability issues, the inability to relobby, which seems to have got worse as the game's gone on. So yeah, it is a bit worrying that they haven't mentioned, a multiplayer. I'm sort of hoping that they've got a new engine. Would it be an engine for that? And maybe some sort of dedicated servers, but I feel like that's a very sort of ambitious shot in the dark for that. So yeah, that's another concern. On a positive note, the graphics look really nice. The water features especially look amazing. Um, you didn't get to hear much of it on stream, but the sort of build up to the stream contained some of the music, which I'm guessing is from the game, which sounds really nice. And I am a big fan of the music. Combat system, not too many details on yet, so we'll see with that. I hope they don't use a sort of a system like in Humankind where you had to, build up war. What was it? War something to be able to declare on your enemy and that sort of thing. I know I keep mentioning Humankind. I'm very worried that they've made a bit of a Humankind clone though, so to speak. But yeah, apart from that, yeah, I think I'm looking forward to the game. I'm more of a person that likes to be excited when I actually play the game, though. So yeah, this video's gone long enough, guys. I'm going to end it there. Again, if you're not following the stream here on YouTube, sorry, give us a subscribe, ring the bell, whatever, do all that malarkey, and give us a follow over on twitch.tv/underciv. Thanks again for watching, and I shall see you in a first look, another gameplay reveal, whatever the Firaxis guys want to treat us to next. And yeah, if not, I'll see you in February for more Civ 7. But yeah, I will continue to be playing and streaming Civ 6. So yeah, see you guys there. Thanks for watching. GG's.